Hi friends, it's Amber and this is a Lovely Yarn podcast. I'm just going to put this out there right from the very start. I'm feeling a little bit all over the place about this episode because it has been such an incredibly long time since I posted just a regular episode. So my brain is just like that because I have so much to talk about and I have so many exciting things, a little treat for you all. I just have so much. So I hope I don't miss anything. I'm also feeling the crunch because my puppy is sleeping. I have a 5-month-old English Springer. And so that's another thing. It's been really hard to get videos because I have her. So we're just going to try our best. I'm going to put this little disclaimer out there. I have 2 dogs. I'm in my bedroom filming, which is where I keep the majority of my yarn. And both of my dogs are in here sleeping right now. So you may hear some puppy snores and some old dog snores, but that's what you're going to get here at a Lovely Yarn podcast. So I'm going to, I feel like I just need to jump into it. I don't know when my last regular episode was, but I've been doing lots of vlogs and I did a couple of special episodes in there too. The reason being, because it's spring, almost summer, I have been busy outside. I spend way more time outside this time of the year. So I've, had to plant my garden. We've been doing some camping. I don't sit as much this time of the year. I'm outside more. So I felt like to do a regular episode. Let me just say it this way. I like to do regular episodes. I love getting on here and chatting with you all. I like sharing what I'm working on, what I'm getting up to in my life. And so I've thrown around various ideas, but I don't know. I like the vlogs. I like doing vlogs right now. And so I've been doing a lot of those, but I'm not showcasing all of my knitting progress on there. So this is going to be one of those regular episodes where I show you my knitting. I have a crochet blanket I'm working on, and I have an embroidery project that I recently started while we were on a camping trip. Some of you guys may have seen that, some of this stuff already just from my vlogs. But let's go ahead and get started because, I just feel a little overwhelmed. I'm surrounded. I'm surrounded by stuff. Normally, I start out with my finished objects, but today I'm going to start out with my whips because I want to talk about something that I am working in collaboration with Unravelled Knitting. This is a company that specializes in beginner-friendly and just any level friendly knitting kits. And they had reached out to me a while ago and asked if I would be up to receiving one of their kits and trying out the yarn and trying out their kit. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I want to talk about that first because I'm actually really excited about this project and I've already casted it on. I haven't shown this at all on here in any way, but I've been working on it and I'm really enjoying it. So first of all, let me just tell you a little bit about this company because that would make more sense. I honestly had never even heard of this company before they reached out to me. So I had to do a little bit of research and investigating before I agreed to do a collaboration with them because that's just how I like to do things here. I like to keep it real. And although I do sponsorship ads, I'm very, I like to know what I'm promoting here on my channel. So let me tell you a little bit about Unravelled Knitting for those of you who maybe have not heard of them before. Unravelled Knitting is a small family-owned business. They create these beautiful all-in-one knitting kits, and these kits are available for every skill level. Like I said, you could do beginner, but I'm not a beginner, and I'm really enjoying the kit that they sent me. So personally, I received the kit for their Luna sweater. And I have to say, I am genuinely impressed. Opening this package, this box that they sent me was such a treat. Everything arrived in one tidy little box. There were the needles, the pattern was in there, the printed pattern. I had accessories like stitch markers and even a little cute little leather label thingy that I can stitch into my sweater when I'm all done. And then the most luxurious Peruvian alpaca yarn. It's soft, it's light, and I just love it. I have been working on this sweater. I actually had to slow the pace because I was flying through it. And it has just been such a peaceful little ritual for me because it's not a complicated pattern. It is easy for me to work on while I'm socializing. I took it with me when I went to a recent fiber festival, and I love that one of the visions of Unravelled is to really lean into like the mindful, relaxing side of the knitting craft. I love that. It's like one of their mantras is kind of like knitting for our mental health. And these kits give you everything you need. I was really impressed with that. And I love the needles that they send. They're actually the wooden Chaogu. I love Chaogu needles. They're my favorite. I usually use the metal, but I do own some of the wooden ones that I've purchased myself. So I was really happy to see that they were Chaogu needles and not some like cheap, not very nice needles. Also, they have a private Facebook group if you're interested in something like that. And it's full of helpful, encouraging knitters. So that's a really great resource if you like to have the online social media aspect of it as well. Now, part of my collaboration with Unravelled is that I wanted to get on here, tell you how much I'm enjoying mine, and I'm going to show you here in a minute what I've actually done, how much I've worked on. If you would like to try one for yourself, you can actually get 10% off your first kit with the code A Lovely Yarn. Just click the link down in my show notes. That'll take you over to the Unravelled store. Now, I will say, don't wait too incredibly long because their kits do tend to sell out. They do replace the kits with like new kits, as far as like new patterns and stuff. But they had recently released a vest pattern. I think it was called the Hello Vest, and I wanted it so badly, but I didn't want to order it at that time. And it is completely sold out, which was a big bummer. So yeah, if you want to try a kit out for yourself, head over to the Unravelled store using the link in my video description down below, and the code A Lovely Yarn will get you 10% off your first kit. I also want to send a big thank you to Unravelled for sending me this beautiful kit and for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so you guys would have seen some of the footage from me opening my package and then working. I sat out on the deck a day last week, kind of in the morning hours before it got too warm, and I worked on it, I casted it on, and I got it started. And I've just really been enjoying working on this. So I have my kit right here. I'm actually keeping my project I have it in my Sherman's. Shout out to Sherman's in Maine. Specifically the Bar Harbor one, because that's the one I always go to. But anyway, I have it in here because I actually took it with me to the Fayette County Fiber Festival that I went to this past weekend, which I will mention a little bit later on. So I'm keeping my project in this bag, but I'm keeping the extra yarn in here. And just real quick again, I'll show you the two yarns that I'm holding double in this particular project. This is this greenish, this is the most beautiful color of greeny blue. I love it so much. I would actually love to knit a sweater with just this yarn. And by the way, they do sell just yarn on their website as well, if you're not interested in a kit. I really, really like, this is super soft. So this has 45% alpaca and 35% wool. And then it also has 20% linen. And then this Baby Surrey is the other one, and it has, it's mulberry silk. No, I'm probably halfway, let me see, I'm keeping track. I am a little over halfway through the sweater and before I start to split for the sleeves. This is a raglan sweater, but this is what it's gonna look like. And this, so they actually let me pick this kit. And I loved this little, can you see this? It's like an I-cord that gets attached here and you tie it up to cinch in your sleeve. I don't know how well you can see that. It's not something, wait here, I'm gonna flip it without giving away, there we go, okay? So it's like a Belle sleeve and then you make your I-cord thingies and you cinch it up. So that's not a sweater style that I've ever worn before, but that's why I was drawn to it because I thought, that is really interesting. really easy, very mindful for sure. Like it's in this yarn, the yarn really makes a difference. And I know like this is just really nice yarn. It's really nice yarn. Wanted to share that with you guys. And if you are interested in checking out their website and everything in their different kits, they have lots of different kits. They have sweaters, blankets, shawls. They have a really cute shawlette that I was looking at. If I remember, I'll flash a picture up here. Like I said, they had that, I think it was called the Hello Vest. It had a little strip of intarsia down the back, and it was so cute, and it sold out so fast, which was a bummer for me. But let's talk about some scrappiness, okay? Because you guys know I love scraps. I love scrappy projects. I love myself a scrappy project. So I am working on a scrappy sock project because I have this bag, which isn't even full because I have it divided up into 2 different project bags. I have this bag full of commercially dyed and produced sock yarn, okay? So I don't really use this in many scrappy projects. Like in all the scrappy blankets and stuff that I've done, I've never used this yarn. I did try to use it in a granny stripe shawl that I made over the winter, and I absolutely did not like it at all. So I ripped that out and decided this has to go into a special kind of project. And the reason for that is a lot of this yarn is self-striping. So it was giving, when I used it for that granny stripe shawl, it was making way too many crazy colors and patterning, and it was just way too busy looking for me. So I frogged that project. And what I'm doing instead is I'm making a really fun pair of scrappy shorty socks. I just started these on Sunday. This is how much I love scrappy projects, because the reason I like them is because they keep my interest, because I'm constantly changing the yarn color. So I started Sunday. I already have a sock completely finished. I finished it yesterday morning, and I cast on the second, and I have the second one. I'm already past the heel now. These are shorty socks, but let me stop talking and show you what I have. It's so happy looking. Scrappy projects make me so happy. Now, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to give you any details on the yarn because it's all from years past, and I didn't keep any labels for it. And so what I did is I did 5 rows of ribbing, and then I did 5 rows of stockinette, and then I did my heel flap and gusset. And then I did 10 rounds of each color. So because some of the, like, look, this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, those 3 stripes that look like they're individual stripes, they're actually from the same yarn. Same with this, same with this whole section here. So yes, 5 ribbing, 5 stockinette, heel flap and gusset, and then 10 rounds of each color. I'm this far on the second one. I am just racing through these. And part of the reason for that is because this is just a plain vanilla sock, I cast on 60 stitches on size 0 needles. These are my Chalgu 9-inch circulars, which is what I use all the time for socks. I decided, or I remembered actually, Amber, remember when you used to walk and knit? I haven't done that for several years, maybe longer than several years. And so because I have a puppy who has a lot of energy, I do a lot of walking. I usually go out for at least an hour, probably 4 times a day to walk her. And so what I have been doing is taking this sock project with me when I walk, and I will knit and walk. And I've been using this really cute bag from Jesselyn Janice. This was a gift. She sent this to me. It's been several years now. Time goes so fast, you lose track. But this just loops on, and then I can hold it. In fact, I took some footage of it, so I'll either put that in, or I may have already put it in, of me just walking and knitting with this on my arm. I know other people do this too, but that's why I've been able to get so much of these done, and it's been really amazing. And then the only time I have to really stop is when I change out a color, and then I do the way I'm doing that so that I don't have a gazillion ends to weave in at the end, which, look at this, turning it inside out. Already woven all my ends. All my ends are trimmed and cut off. So what I'm doing is I'm using the magic knot. I've talked about this magic knot thing in the past. I don't care for it because my very first Scrappy knitting blanket I did using it unraveled in multiple places because I don't know why. I don't know. And I know that some people never have that happen. And then I've talked to other people who say, yeah, that's happened to me. So I'm not using the magic knot anymore. But what I found with the magic knot is if I make the knot and then pull the two ends and then you have two tails, you have your working yarns and then you have your two tails. Instead of snipping those tails off right at the knot, I just leave the tails on and I knit them in with the working strand as well. So what that does mean is it gives a little bit of extra bulk. But see, you can't even really tell. Like you can feel it when you squeeze. You can feel where I joined in a new round or a new yarn because I'm holding two strands double for a little bit just to weave in the end a bit. And then I'll snip off whatever's left. So that's how I deal with the magic knot ball and not have to worry about knitting or weaving so many of these ends in. So these are so fun. If you like scrappy projects and you have a bunch of like scrappy fingering weight yarn, I think they're really, really fun because they are commercially produced yarns and they do have so much patterning in it. So where I didn't like this craziness in a shawl, I really, really love it. It's really like filling my heart full of happiness to see it in a sock. Okay, the next project that I want to show you, I haven't actually made any progress on these since I last showed them on the regular episode that I talked about them on, but they are the Winglet mitts. And I have had these, I started these sometime last year. I've had them setting on my shelf, one finished except for the thumb and being blocked, and the other one started, but not even, like I haven't even done the thumb split yet. Anyway, I started these last year. I'm using Knit Picks palette in the color 2400. I don't know, it doesn't have a name on it. Knitting them on my 9-inch circulars, and this, I don't know what size because the sticker is covering it. Why do they do that? Why do they put a sticker over the size? When I did my camping vlog last weekend, the weather was supposed to be like cold and rainy, which it was for half of our trip. So I took a bunch of different projects with me of all different crafts. And one of them were these mitts. Now I didn't get to working on these there, but because I pulled them off the shelf and I finished two other projects from that camping trip, which I will show you here in a bit. Now I'm going to get started back on these. So I will put the information for this pattern down below, but I'm pulling these out for accountability because I really want to get these going again so I can get them done because they are so cute. Like, look at that cute little moth. This is not hard to do, by the way. And I made a comment in my vlog about how small it looks so small. And I probably knit the smallest size because I do have like skinny hands. And one of the viewers said, don't forget you haven't blocked them yet. And she's totally right because this is 100% wool. So these will definitely block out as well. Although I have to say, I really like how snug it fits my hand. So I don't even know that I'll block it that aggressively. I might just steam block it because I like, just like with my socks, I like my mittens or my fingerless mitts to fit a bit tighter around my hand. My next work in progress is a crochet pattern or a crochet project. And yeah, I didn't talk about this last time. I talked about this in a vlog, pretty sure, because I feel like I just started this recently. This is the Cottage Ripple blanket by Lucy of Attic 24. I bought this kit off of Wool Warehouse. They have kits for so many of her blanket patterns. Unfortunately, I was looking on Ravelry to see if you could find this particular pattern on there, and I cannot find it, at least not listed as the Cottage Ripple blanket, but there's one that looks really similar and is a ripple blanket. So I'm wondering if that is a very similar, just maybe not exactly the same. But I bought this as a kit because here's why. I don't really keep acrylic yarn on hand. I don't care to use acrylic yarn. This isn't me. I just don't like the feel of it. I don't like the shine of it. I'm not a big acrylic yarn user. However, when I am making a blanket or an afghan, I would love to knit an afghan in 100% non-superwash wool. I feel like that would be an amazing experience, but that would mean I would have to hand wash that thing. And I don't really think I want to do that because that's a big, that's a big project. I could stick it in my wash and fill the washer, and do it that way. And then run the spin cycle to spin all the water out and then hang it to dry. So I could do that. But I have not worked up the courage to invest that much time into a blanket that I feel like would be potentially be a chore to have to wash and care for. So I have mostly crocheted, but also knitted lots of blankets. I have lots of handmade blankets, and all of them have been made with acrylic or wool acrylic blends that are superwash treated so that I can throw them in the washer and dryer. And so I don't keep that kind of yarn really in my stash much. So it was much easier and actually really economical for me to get on and just order this from Wool Warehouse, get this whole kit, everything I need, and the pattern comes with it. Like they send you a printed pattern, and then they also gave the color order, or you could do your own, but I'm using their color order because I like the look of theirs. I'm crocheting this using a size G hook, which of course this hook, this Susan Bates hook, does not say what that is in metrics. Okay, so this is what I have. It's so pretty. I love it. Look at those happy colors. So how big is this? I had somebody ask me that in the vlog. I'm not sure. I'd have to measure it. It's definitely bigger than the lap size. So if there are two options, this would be like a single bed size, I would say. You do all of this rippling, which is super easy. And then at the very end, you go back and you do a border along all four sides. But I'm really happy with this. It's been really fun. And crocheting goes so much faster than knitting, in my opinion. So it is, I always find crochet to be a nice palette cleanser in between big knitting projects. I definitely don't crochet like I used to, but I've been trying to do it a little bit more the last couple of years. Mostly I'm making blankets when I'm crocheting, which is, like I said, I don't really care to knit blankets. I think knitted blankets take way too long. I did that one last year and I just lose interest too fast. And that was even a sampler. But I just lose interest because then I was thinking at the end, I'm going to have to go and join all these together. So I'm learning that about myself. I don't care to knit blankets, but I really like to crochet blankets. So those are all of my active whips. Of course, I have other ones, but we're not going to talk about them today because I haven't really given them any thought or haven't worked on them recently. So let me show you what I've actually finished. First up is this Ranunculus sweater, which I absolutely adore. I love this so much. I want to make another one in the same exact yarn, but a different color. This is how much I love this. I love everything about this sweater. I need to write down all of the measurements in my knitting journal so that when I go to make another one with this same yarn combination, I will have all that information written down. I will know what needle size. I will know how long to knit my sleeves. I will know how long to knit my body and then the ribbing on the bottom, because this fits me perfectly, at least in my opinion. This is the way I want a sweater to fit me. So, or at least this type of sweater. So let me show you this. Gorgeous. I love it. First of all, this pattern, I love this pattern. Oh, I forgot to tell you what I'm wearing. I feel like I'm very caffeinated today, but I'm actually not. I'm just in a really good mood because we've had like 3 days in a row of sun. And it's been really raining here in Western Pennsylvania. Like we hardly had any sun all spring so far, and it's been cold. So I think I'm just in a really good mood from all of the serotonin, from all of the vitamin D that I've been getting from the sun. This is also a ranunculus. This is knit using Drops Belle in the Petrol color. And I knit this, I think, last summer or the summer before, maybe the summer before, actually, I think. But yeah, this one is one of my favorites for the summer. And then this is another ranunculus, but this is totally different because this is knitted with much warmer yarn. So this is Kelborn Woolen's Germantown DK, which this was my first time using the Germantown DK. I've used other yarn from Kelborn Woolens, and I really like their yarn. In fact, I love their yarn. Like I have, how many sweaters quantities? I think I have 2 sweaters quantities of their yarn, the Scout, on my bookcase that I bought with specific sweaters in mind. Just haven't gotten to them yet. Imagine that. This was my first time trying their Germantown anything. I've never used the Germantown label at all. So this is the DK, and I held it double with Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair. The Germantown color is lilac, and the mohair color from Knitting for Olive is artichoke purple. This is, oh my goodness, I love this color. This is such a good color. I love this color so much. And this is maybe my softest sweater I own. My coziest sweater that I've ever made. I knit size 1, which if I'm going to knit this weight of yarn, I'm going to knit the smallest size of the ranunculus. This one, I'm not sure what this one is. I don't even know. I don't think I was keeping my knitting journal back when I knitted this. But this probably was like a size, maybe the size 2, or it could have been that I just kind of managed the size as I went, because I will do that sometimes. And the ranunculus is nice in that you do all of this pretty yoke, like here, you can see it better in this. You do all this pretty like lace work and other textured work in the yoke before you even pick your size. So you can actually like put it on your shoulders and kind of get an idea of, do I need to knit size 1, size 2, size 3, whatever. And so I like that about this pattern, which I think that's how the Unravelled, the Luna sweater, is as well. I like that. I like when you can get started and then decide on your size, especially if you're somebody who doesn't always knit a gauge swatch. So I don't know what else to say about this. I knit this on size 9 needles. The pattern calls for size 10. I don't think I've ever knit this pattern on size 10 needles. I think I've always done either like this one was done on size 8 needles. Drops Belle is a DK weight yarn. So yeah, I knit this one on size 8 and then this on 9, because the DK plus the fingering would make like a worsted or an Aran. What else do I want to say about this? I should check my knitting journal. I finished this. I didn't really write much. I didn't write much about this pattern yet because I have to take all the measurements. But I finished this shortly after getting back from our camping trip last week. And I did do the short row shaping in both the back and the front. Oh, I know another question I get about this pattern. People always ask me about my cast-on. So I actually just do a long tail cast-on, and I use the larger cast-on amount. I have never done the cast-on that they tell you to do in that pattern. I don't know why. I just don't, it looks complicated and I don't want to, it looks too fussy. I've always done the long tail, and I've always used the larger cast-on count, and it's never failed me yet. That is my ranunculus number. I have no idea because I've made so many of them. And the funniest thing is I want to cast another one on. Like I want to cast, I have so many different ideas for ranunculi I could make. But I said to my friend Jody, I said, is that kind of lame? Because that would be me knitting the same sweater over and over again, just in different colors or yarn combos or yarn types. But I just love this pattern so much. And I think for me, it's an easy pattern, but it gives you such a beautiful looking yoke. And I think it's also, I like this because it seems to work. Like you can make it work with pretty much any weight yarn. You just have to play around a little bit. Okay, oh, and I have not blocked this yet. I'm not going to wet block it because I don't even know that it would need block. Like, I don't even feel like I would really need to block it, but there are a couple places in it that the tension's maybe a little bit off. So I am going to do like a steam block and also like, you know, at the sleeves. Oh, that was something else I wanted to say. I did not do any sleeve decreases like the pattern calls for, okay? Also, see right there? You can see where I joined in some new yarn. That'll block out as well. So the pattern tells you to do decreases if you're doing the long sleeve version, because there's also a short sleeve version. I did not do any sleeve decreases because I wanted to do this pretty not gathered. What would you call this? I forget what this is called. Goodness. Anyway, what I did is I think I was knitting 49 stitches the whole way down, like 49 stitches on my needles. And then when I got to where I wanted to start the ribbing, I have this little tool. Is it called knitting? I'll write the name of the app down below. I hope if I forget to write stuff, please just comment because I sometimes forget. I'll write the name of this knitting app down below because it has a lot of tools in it. And one of them is you can calculate how to increase and decrease evenly. So I put in 49 stitches and I needed to get down to 33, I think it was. And so I put those numbers in and it told me how to knit my decreases to get down to that. So that's how I did this little poofy sleeve here. And steam blocking it will also help with that ribbing. Oh, real quick too, in case you want to knit one of these with this yarn. There's the Germantown DK, which I have an affiliate link for this down below too because I really love their yarn. And so I'm an affiliate with them. And here's the Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair. But I bought 3 skeins of the Germantown DK. This is all I have left. I didn't weigh it, but there's not much there. And then I bought 4 skeins of the Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair. And I have a fair amount, definitely over half of this left. Could have weighed it, but I did not. I'm not going to talk a lot about these because I've talked about both of these socks in a number of other videos, but I want to show them because these were my 2 projects I finished up that like my camping trip kind of helped me finish up. So the first one are the socks that I knit. This pattern was January's chart from Summerlee's Colorwork Cuff Club that I belong to, and that's like a year-long subscription-based pattern plan where you get a new color work. At the very beginning, you get your basic sock pattern, and then every month you get at least one color work chart for your cuff. So this is January's. I've only actually knit 2 pairs of socks. So 2 different color work charts from that, but I have lots. I have so many now, just for whenever the fancy strikes. And I used Farmer Daughter's fibers. Here, this was what came. This is part of the sock subscription I'm doing with Farmer's Daughter fibers this year. And then I also, so that was this, and then this is just from Flower Hill Fleeces when Jody was dying. This was part of a mini skein set. So those are done. Look how much yarn I still have left. And then the other pattern, my hair's falling out, or the other pair of socks. So this pair of socks was the replacement for the socks that I knit my husband Brad for Christmas because I knit him a pair for Christmas and they were too short on his feet. I don't know how I did that. I've knit him so many pairs of socks in the past. I don't know how I messed that up. I had thought about cutting the toe off and knitting the foot longer, but then I realized I probably wasn't going to have enough yarn. So what I ended up doing was giving that pair to Lily's boyfriend, Noah, because his feet are smaller than Brad's. And I told Brad I would knit him another pair. And 6 months later, I finally finished them. And these are going to be going into his drawer as soon as I'm done podcasting. But here's his pair. And someone had asked, I think it was Annie had asked about the yarn name. So Super Garn Active, and this is color, I think it's 4154, which again, I will put this down below in the description box. That'll give you a better idea. From far away, the sock looks very brown, but you realize it has like some plummy purples in it too, which makes it really nice. I don't really prefer to, even though these are self-striping socks, it's hard for me to knit your typical manly looking socks because the colors are normally very subdued and like grays and drabby blues and those kind of browns. I like to knit socks that have lots of color. So sometimes these feel like a bit of a slog to get through when I'm knitting like this kind of a color of sock. But I will say that that plummy purple did help to like push me through. So these are done. Yay, they're going into Brad's drawer. He will be happy to have another pair of socks. Okay, let's talk a little bit about a couple other things. I have yarn ready for two projects. Well, I have to wind up a skein of yarn for the one. And I have a little surprise for you guys too that I want to talk about. So the first thing let's talk about this first. Let's talk about this kit that I did talk about in a vlog. So I'm not going to talk about it at, verbatim, but I ordered this hopscotch bunny kit from Susan B. Anderson, Barrett Wool Co. back when she released this. I think it was the beginning of April, and it didn't ship out until almost the end of May. So I just recently got this. I wound up all of my yarn. So it's ready to go and I just need to cast on. Her kits, I think this is the second kit I've ordered from her. No, this is the third. I ordered a sweater. My Birkin sweater was a kit from her, which we're not going to talk about that Birkin sweater. I still have a little bit of some knitting trauma from that. But anyway, this stuffy kit comes with the safety eyes, the embroidery floss that you need to embroider in the facial expressions and stuff. And then you get a code. Ooh, I showed you my download code. You get a code on this piece that you go to Ravelry and you download your pattern. But then you also get a printed pattern in this very nice book, which is really nice. I'll actually honestly just use the book since I already have it. And this is, I think, is this the Woolen Spun? Yeah, this is the Wisconsin Woolen Spun worsted yarn by Barrett Wool Co. I love their yarn. I do. I really love their yarn. They have awesome yarn. So this is ready to go. We'll be casting that on very soon. Just knitting it because I love her little stuffed animals. I've knit another bunny pattern of hers before. I don't think I ordered it. I think I just got the pattern for that one and then used my own yarn. But I forget what that one was called. Okay, so that's one of my projects that I'm getting ready to cast on. The other one, I actually left the yarn for up there. Stand by, I will be right back. So I ordered Sandnes Garn Tin Lena to make a Seaborn Tee, which is a pattern by Herb Garden Knitwear. I've actually knit this before. I knit it, I think it was that 2 years ago now? And I knit it in Drops Belle. It was too tight in the armpit area and I could have fixed, I knit it to pattern. And I had a sneaky suspicion it was going to be too tight rub up into my armpit. So I should have modified it as I was going, but I just kept going. And when I finished it, I realized, yep, I was right. It was going to be too tight. So I wore it a couple of times and I realized this isn't a very comfortable shirt for me to wear. And so I gave it to my friend who is smaller than me. But I really love the look of this tee. And so I bought yarn to cast on another one. Now I ordered this pattern calls for a DK weight yarn. But I ordered this from Wool & Company because they have free US shipping and their shipping is really quick. If I wanted to get this color, which is, do I have a color name on this? Kitten, something like that. If I wanted this in the DK weight, I was going to have to wait 2 to 4 weeks to get it. And I tried looking elsewhere on the internet and everybody was the same. Like everyone's currently sold out of this. I had heard someone say that, you know, they actually preferred holding 2 strands of the Tinlina double because this is the same fiber composition as the Lena. The Lena is DK and the Tinlina is fingering. And this has, oh gosh, oh there we go, cotton, viscose, and linen in it. So it's very similar to the Drops Belle as far as composition. I like Drops Belle. I have used it a lot. It's very affordable. However, at the knit night that I go to, Kathy, one of my friends, Kathy, brought her a shirt that she had knit using the Sandusgarn Lena, and it just felt different. Not that this doesn't feel good. Like this feels perfectly fine, but it felt different enough that it piqued my curiosity and I was like, I want to try knitting with this Sandusgarn yarn. So I ordered 6 skeins of that to hold double. And then I ordered 2 skeins of the Lena because they had this color. And this is like dusty green, I think. Dusty green, yeah. I can't find the other skein right now, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to make this the contrast stripes, and this is going to be the main color of the body. I'm really excited to do this. I am gonna need to do a swatch though, because I've never knit with this particular yarn before, and especially holding the 2 strands together. I wanna make sure I get this right this time. I really did like this top. It's very beautiful. The edging on the bottom of the sweater and on the bottom of the arm, like the sleeves, is just completely beautiful and just makes this shirt completely different than any other ones that I've seen that have the striping and stuff. So we're gonna give that another go and hopefully it goes better this time. All right, this last thing that I wanna talk to you guys about is something I'm very excited and very, very grateful for. Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade reached out to me and she offered me 6 free ebooks for her Handmade Sock Society. This is, I think, the 6th year she's done this. She gave me one and then she said I could give the other 5 away to viewers of the podcast or whatever. She said you can do with it whatever you want to do. She did not require me to do any PR for her or anything like that. So I decided what I wanted to do is just to offer them up as like a little treat for you guys. I hate to use the G word because it and I think I may have already used it, but it instantly like flags my video for scammers. So I have 5 of these ebooks that I'm offering, that Helen is offering, not me. She's given them to me to offer to you. And if you do not know what the Handmade Sock Society is, it's basically like a mystery sock club. So every month for 6 months, she will send to your Ravelry inbox a new sock pattern. And so we are into the 2nd month. This is how crazy I've been, like that I have not talked about this yet. So we're into the 2nd month already. So she's already released 2 patterns. The first pattern was the Flourish socks. It was a very lacy pattern. I'll go ahead and flash the pictures up on the thing. It looks like it has a lace panel that runs down the front. Now, this second sock, I'm actually going to be casting on for. These are called the letterpress socks. I really like the texture in these. I'm not a big lacy sock girl, but I love textured socks. So I'm actually going to be knitting this letterpress socks in this yarn. This is another fiber or farmer's daughter fiber. This is another one. This is just attached. I'm not actually, I might do that. Maybe I will do some contrasting color on like the toes and heel and stuff, but I think this would look really pretty for the main body and the texture of that sock. Okay, so I have 5 of these subscriptions for 5. I have 1 of these subscriptions for 5 of you. So I have 5 total. 5 of you are going to receive this subscription. And so I was trying to think of a fun prompt for you to have to answer in the comment section. So I was thinking, because of like with the whole Unravelled knitting collaboration that I'm doing, and their intent and purpose is like mental health and relaxation while you knit, I thought, I am curious to know, when you want to really chill and relax and veg out, what type of project do you like to work on? It could be like a specific type of knitting pattern, like for instance, it could be socks, or it could be you like to knit sweaters, or perhaps you prefer to cross stitch or embroider when you want to relax, like you don't really want to knit. So I'm curious. So that's what you need to do. If you want to participate in this little treat that Helen Stewart is offering you, it's really hard not to use the G word. In the comment section down below, please tell me what kind of pattern or project, crafty thing, do you like to work on when you really need to just veg out and relax? Answer that question down below, and that way I'll know that you would like to be included in this little gift. And on my next regular episode, I will choose the recipients of the 5 subscriptions. So thank you very much, Helen. If you're watching this, thank you for offering that for me and for my viewers. That was very, very gracious of you. Speaking of that, I never chose a name for the summer episode where I listed, like, I think it was 15 different summer shirts that I wanted to knit, or patterns that I thought were great for summer. And so I went ahead, and I'm going to put it on the screen here because I did it right before I started filming, because I have to actually film on my phone. But I recorded the video of me randomly picking that person using just a random comment picker. And so that will be listed on the screen. Because look at the screen to see if you are the winner of that. And I will also comment. I'll try to find your comment in that video, and I will comment there as well and ask you to send your Ravelry contact info to me via my email. So you can be looking for that. And then if I don't hear back from that person, I will pick another winner next time, because sometimes I don't hear back. Sometimes maybe people just watch that episode, but they don't watch any ones in the future, and so they don't realize they've won. I feel like this video is going to have all kinds of red flags on it now because of everything I just talked about, even though I was really trying hard not to say the G word. Okay, I need to wrap this up. I have such a disastrous mess around me. My puppy has been so good. She's laying here. She's been sleeping. Every now and then she's looked up and she's been like, "What are you doing, Mom?" And then she lays her head back and goes back to sleep. So yay for that. Mitty's still snoring behind the camera there. I need to go out and mow our very large yard. So I want to wrap this up, but I do just want to say real quickly that I was able to attend the Fayette County Fiber Festival this past weekend. I offered to my friend Jody, who is the shepherdess and owner of Flower Hill Fleeces, I offered to go with her just to kind of like hang out with her and offer any assistance that I might be able to give her. And she took me up on that offer, and we had a really good time. I actually got to meet several of podcast viewers. So let's see. I hope I remembered everyone's name. So there was Rebecca, who was also a vendor there. And then there was Gina and Bonnie of, I think it's Meadow Sweet Farms Art Studio. She has a podcast She has a podcast as well. And then I was also able to meet Rachel and Renee from Table 10 podcast, which really, it was actually quite ironic because I had recently, and when I say recently, I mean like last week, I had just found their podcast. It came up in my YouTube recommendations, and they are another Pittsburgh area knitting podcast. So I started watching them. They're a sister duo and they are hilarious. They had me laughing a lot. And so I watched one of their episodes. I think it was like the episode from around Mother's Day. And then I came home from the festival and I was all by myself that night. And my dog wasn't here either because Brad and Lily had taken her with them. So I just sat there and I binge watched their podcasts for a while. And they're really funny. And it's really cool that they're also from the same area. I mean, like, they live probably over an hour from me, but still, it feels fairly close. But they were really fun to meet, and I had a good time there. I had a good time, and it was really nice to meet people and see different beautiful yarns and products and hang out with my friend Jody. So that was definitely a nice day. Thank you for those of you who have been watching my vlogs and have been commenting that you've been enjoying them, because I never know with vlogs. Some people just don't care to see that. And then there's nebby people like me. I love watching vlogs. I love seeing what people are doing in their everyday life and how they incorporate their art or their craft into their daily living, how they manage their homes, the different things they do. Like I am, but I'm kind of nosy that way, I guess. I enjoy watching vlogs pretty much just as much, maybe sometimes more depending on my mood, than I enjoy watching just regular knitting podcast episodes. And honestly, like I said, because I felt like I haven't had a lot of knitting time, the vlogging makes me feel like I can still contribute on my channel here, but yet I'm not feeling the pressure to just be sitting and knitting all the time, because that is something that kind of, I remember especially earlier on in filming my knitting podcast, I felt like I constantly had to be knitting so that I had something to show for it. And so right now, especially during the warmer seasons of the year, I feel like vlogging just flows more naturally with my life rhythm because I'm not inside hardly ever. And I'm not knitting as much. And this is the time of year where I find myself picking up the other crafts that I enjoy. Like, I remember the one spring I was obsessively watercolor painting all spring and summer. And then other times it's been like, was it 2 years ago? I just wanted to cross stitch all the time. This spring, it seems to be that the embroidery bug has hit me again. So it's like I'm always, in addition to knitting, there's always a second craft that maybe I don't do as much or as prolifically, but I get into it for a while and then I just run with it. So yeah, that's what my vlogs are. You're going to see a combination of my crafty life as well as my just daily life, gardening, housework, homemaking, my dogs. You'll see a lot of my dogs now because my kids are all grown. All right, well guys, I'm going to wrap it up now, but I want to thank each and every one of you so much for watching, especially if you stayed to the end. This was definitely a chatty, kind of all over the place episode, or at least that's what it felt like in my brain as I was talking through it. And yeah, also I want to personally thank, I try to send thank yous when I, like once a month. But for those of you who are financially supporting my channel through Ko-fi, coffee, how do you pronounce that? I need to Google that. But I wanted to thank each and every one of you who do that, because that really means a lot to me. In fact, I am planning on purchasing a vlogging camera and a new laptop, because now that I'm vlogging, I can't edit on my laptop. It is ancient. When you have kids, like the kids get the money, their stuff gets the money, like you provide things for them and your stuff doesn't get updated. So my laptop is very old. And when we purchased it, it was a cheaper one. And I specifically bought it just so that it could handle me doing our bills and checking email. So it doesn't have much capability as far as editing or video or anything like that. So Brad and I are trying to come up with a bit of a budget for me to eventually be able to purchase a new laptop and a potentially a vlogging camera, because right now the problem I'm running into is I film and I edit on my phone, and I never have enough storage, so I'm constantly having to delete photos and stuff. And so I'd like to be able to get away from that. And so I say all this because you guys, your financial donations are helping with that. And also I know that like watching ads on YouTube, I am also monetized, so I make some money from that as well. And I know that can be an annoyance to some people. And so, but that also helps for me to be able to put money back into the channel. And then also it's helping me to be able to pay for Lily's cosmetology school bill. So I am greatly appreciative. Like, I seriously am. So yeah, I wanted to just offer my gratitude to you all for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all. I appreciate you all watching and taking the time to comment. Don't forget to, leave the comment for the little treat that we have here for you this episode. And hopefully I will see you guys soon. Bye.